the Despia player is going first. And looks like Zohair only has Ghost Spell. You guys will see a little bit later on. This is going to get kind of messy. Apparently this other player is practicing for regionals. It does not go entirely well for him with a specific interaction, but we'll see that when it comes. So he was playing Droplets as well. I don't agree with this card in Albaz at all. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's good just in general. Even with Herald of the Arclight kind of dropping off right now, I just don't think it's worth the discard. So he is going to Bell this because Aquamancer can't add back from the graveyard. Yeah, you absolutely can Bell this. This is just flat out incorrect because it does add from the graveyard, so it can add Rite of Aramasir either from the deck or the graveyard. Yeah, kind of interesting, but he has Branded Fusion anyway. So typical play is where he gets Polymerization off of the Fright Fur, Patchwork, and the second Engine Chain. Yep. In this case, it's good to have Droplet. That's the only thing, because you can pitch Snow off of it and still use Snow's effect. Pretty typical play. I mean, nothing else there. So here's just going to scoop from there because he can't play through the couple of disruptions there. So Zohair's going to go first. Super Poly isn't going to do anything. Griffin Rider's not going to do anything as well. So at this point, he's just going to make a rival. I'm just going to kind of showcase how Ignister plays versus Branded Despia. The idea is just to make a towers, a 4K towers that they can out, and then you save your Denmari for Titanic Lad. So, or if they play something like Starving Venom, save it for that. Whichever monster is threatening your towers in turn 2, you just kill them your second turn. Yep, there's the Denmari. Yep, Doyan and Bururu. Yep. Got a bunch of cards. And then summon your monsters, summon your Link 6. There you go. And then you get to add your other hand traps. So 3 hand traps. Despia's not playing through this. Unfortunately, very few decks are actually playing through triple hand trap and a towers. Kind of hard to right now. So he's just going to wall up at this point. Yep, Valor has the... Yeah, so this is actually the correct play to do, which is... this actually does come up quite often where you go Branded Opening, discard whatever you want, and then summon your monster in draw phase still so they can't Valor you. They can still impermanence you, but you'll know if they don't have any other cards in the field and just one card set, or just don't have any cards on the field at all. They'll telegraph it. So it's pretty easy to tell, but it is play around Valor, which is pretty good. Let's see, Branded lost. So, Branded lost, of course, does not protect versus Ash Blossom, but it does protect against Ghost Spell. That's going to be relevant later on. Yeah, so he hits the bell, knowing that it's not going to matter later on. Not with Ash. Okay, yep. Yeah, you really can't do anything at this point. Could go Super Poly. There's really no reason to. And then Rival Cybers is just going to destroy one of these cards next turn. And Call by the Grave. Very, very strong card to draw. Add Picari and go maybe into Splash Mage or Update Jammer, because he does play 2. And Fighting Spirit for, let's see, either Bururu or Doyan, or that's also a really strong card to play as well. So no Super Poly targets here. You could go like, Despian Tragedy plus Picari into Masquerade. It doesn't do a whole lot here though. Kind of forces them to just do something anyway. I think that's what he's going for. Yep. Yeah. Rival Cybers just destroys it. I'm not sure why he's playing Incredible Ecclesia either. Card's okay. The card's very good in Sword Soul. In this deck, it is okay at best, and it's just awful at worst. He's going to destroy those. And then the Update Jammer Access Code play. Super strong. Game 3. This is really interesting. I don't disagree with the Branded player playing really hard into hand traps because he just has everything. But it's going to be enough. It could be enough. Even through Nibiru, but the impermanence is going to be an issue. He's going to try and negate Nibiru later with Griffin, and then it's going to be met by impermanence, and the entire board is going to be cleared. That's usually what happens, and that's why you want to draw Nibiru plus Valor or impermanence. So yeah, good opening to have Masquerade, and then the chip damage does matter, especially once you get them down to, you know, below 600 life points. They just can't activate anything, which does matter. Yep. Albion into Lubellion. Lubellion's going to shuffle back probably itself, or Albion the Branded Dragon for Mirror Jade. Yep. Okay. So, there you go. I still don't entirely agree with playing super hard into it. Just because he had everything doesn't mean he should necessarily play into it. But that's okay. That is okay. This is definitely very greedy, even with Double Masquerade. And the reason being is that you don't want to use your Ad Libitum turn 1 like this, because if you don't get your branded red, then you kind of just lose Ad Lib. You kind of have to draw into it later. Yeah, so the Ad Libitum, of course, is going to bring back Alabaz, but I'm not sure why he brought back Alabaz. I guess that was the only thing. Maybe Albion to put that in the graveyard. That just doesn't seem great. I just wouldn't have even summoned a second Masquerade. There was no reason to. Yep. Met with that, and then this is going to be a very strong Nibiru and impermanence. So basically this resets the board, but he just loses everything but this card. Which I don't think Zohair draws anything relevant, which is going to be an issue for him. He does get Brigand, which does matter, because you can still make Guardian Chimera destroy those 3 cards. Yeah. Yeah, so this is where the ruling issue comes up, is that so the branded player activated Mirror Jade on its removal by an opponent's card. He tries to argue that he can activate it and not have to destroy. That's not how the card works whatsoever. If you activate Mirror Jade, it works just like DPE. You have to destroy all your opponent's monsters. His argument was you can destroy all monsters during the end phase, and that's kind of says that it means that it's an optional destruction effect, but you just have to activate it. That is not how the card works whatsoever. It's just like Magispector Nekomata, Rare Metal Foes, Bismugear. If you activate them, they are optional effects on destruction, on removal, anything like that. But if you do activate them and they do resolve, you have to finish resolving the effect during the end phase. That is mandatory. Yeah, so this was a huge judge call. Took forever. Really boring to wade through, but in the end, the judge did get it correct in that it is mandatory to destroy everything. It is not optional whatsoever. He wanted to keep the Nibiru on board because of Ignister Island, making the correct read that he would have Ignister Island, or that he would need to search it and use, have no monsters in the main zone to use Ignister Island's effect to summon, his Doyan or Picari or anything like that. Yeah, let's see. So he's going to go Picari, which this is really good, but he does have the Branded Red, of course. And this does get you, like I said, this gets you your Ad Libitum. If you have a way to get to Branded Red, using this card is fine. He's going to get Mirror Jade. So he's going to get up to a destroy 1, draw 2, and Mirror Jade, which is usually enough to just win versus this deck, even if it draws enough. Which is just insane. Branded Despia does have insane ground game, even if you're not the best player, and that's a-okay. Even if you're this deck is just objectively better than Ignister. No matter if they have towers, if Ignister has towers, it doesn't even matter. The other 2 games, as much as people may not like, that is how it usually goes, because the hand traps are just usually too much for this deck. Yeah, so he doesn't really draw anything great. Effect Failure can go into any of your other Ignister monsters, because you bridge, I think, Picari, because it shares the light attribute, and nothing else, into one of your Hayates, not Hayate, Hayari, or Baruru. You could. I'm not sure what his exact play was. Let's see. Chi-Chi, okay. Gets that, Chi-Chi, summon. Get Hiyari, okay. So he does get this. This card is really interesting to play. Let's see. Okay. Just going to go Branded Red here. This is okay. So the Wicked can't be destroyed by battle or card effects. The card's very strong. He would probably just destroy the island. I think that's what he does, yeah. So this can set itself again, which I think he's going to do this, but I'm not positive. I would, yeah. So he's going to banish a Chi-Chi and then set island back to the field. Unfortunately, Mirror Jade is just really strong. You just really can't do anything versus it if it resolves. So you get Doyon. Doyon adds back Picari. And then he still has to deal with getting over these two, which is not super difficult. And of course, Mirror Jade can't use its destruction effect. But the Fairy Tale Snow is big. He can't play through Snow. That's the one card he can't play through because Snow just books this card. He controls a monster in the main monster zone and then just can't do anything from there. That is a huge choke point. Book of Moon is, even though this deck normally link summons a bunch. But like going second with this deck, there's not a whole lot you can do, unfortunately. Yep, and he just passes from there, and unfortunately that's enough because he just attacks over, summon Ecclesia. That's how it is, that's how it goes. So even with the ruling mishap, that is unfortunately how usually the Ignister matchup goes. I don't think this deck is very good versus Branded, even if you get off the towers, because sometimes they can out it, even if they don't. There are still two other games, so you guys got to remember that. Let's go ahead and take a look at another match and see kind of how these decks function. Alrighty, and this is versus another Fusion and Link deck. This is going to be Zohair playing again versus Prank-Kids. This matchup is pretty good for Ignister overall. Again, the towers is kind of just what happens. Going first, but the Ghost Spell doesn't do a whole lot versus this deck. It does stop Isle Reborn. I think he's going to use Bell on this. Yeah. Well, no, he doesn't use it, but you can. That is possible. Splash Mage, kind of hard to play through, so he has that. Just has the Isle Reborn anyway. Really not a whole lot of options to Bell them because they can search multiple Monster Reborns. They have like 2 or 3 Monster Reborns. It's kind of crazy. And then just going to go for Towers turn 1. This is how the deck plays going first, and that's literally it. So Prank-Kids monster, of course, he just gets the single Prank-Kids. Literally all Zohair does is you just have to sit until they make Bow Wow Bark and then get the 1000 attack boost on their monster. Plus Prank-Kids place. It does waste a turn, but sometimes it is enough. Let's go ahead and see exactly what happens here. We can use these 2 for Bow Wow, and then Fusion, using Thunder Dragon Fusion into Battle Butler, and then Prank-Kids place will boost his Battle Butler's attack and Bow Wow Bark's attack by 500. Yeah, so on attack declaration, uses this on Bow Wow Bark. Can't do anything about it, just destroys it. It's going to get Doodle back. Passed on that. Really can't do anything here because of the small world draw, which really, really sucks. I do not like this card in Ignister, but Zohair chooses to play with it to go ahead and get a hand trap. Usually a lot of your Ignister monsters can bridge into significant hand traps. Yeah, so then Prank-Kids player just scoops from there. And of course the God card in here. So Rivalry, we side that in going second in this deck and in Sword Soul because you just break through the board. And at worst, if you don't have any cards, if you have 1 card left for next turn, you set Rivalry, pass. They can't usually kill you, especially with Prank-Kids. This deck is really hard to play versus Rivalry. You have to have very specific monsters. Goes that. Of course, chain block this. So kind of how it is. And he just has full combo, no hand traps, which is okay. So here has a double Cosmic for Pandemonium, which is insane. That's going to be the most relevant thing here. Just not having to deal with a Regeki is often enough. It's pretty good. He has Ash and Valor. Okay. Yep. Griffin. So it takes care of a Griffin. Very good trade. And then, of course, Cosmic. Get rid of that. Normal summon. Ashes. That's okay. So he's literally just going to set. In draw phase, he will activate Rivalry. DP can't summon. And then he has to clear his monsters. What I would have done end phase is gotten rid of Bow Wow Bark if I were the Prank-Kids player to get your 2 monsters back. I understand why he didn't. And then at worst, Rivalry gets balanced, which is fine, because then you just are stuck with fairy monsters before Rivalry is balanced, and then what do? You have to draw Prank-Kids. So that's where Bow Wow Bark would have been relevant. Yep, bounce from there. Get Water Enchantress. I feel like he could have gone Verte from here. Okay, he does. And goes Thunder Dragon Fusion for the Regeki. But he doesn't have Meow Mew in the graveyard, so he just has a single Regeki. Which this would have mattered. He actually misses game by 500 because he doesn't have any way to get the extra damage on board. He didn't normal summon these, didn't do anything with these. I still would have, I don't know, I still would have, probably would have drawn first before anything. Let's see, okay, he did, okay. And he can't special summon, they realize that in a second. Can't special summon because Verte resolved. So they realize that, and then, yeah. So he reveals it, so basically Zohair has to kill him this turn, has to end the game right here, or at least stop him from getting, these on the field for the next turn while clearing the board. Which Signet Mining, Small World, a Chi-Chi Picari, that's going to do it. That just these guys on their own is the either Arrival or Access Code Talker, Update Jammer combo. Standard Infant into Island. Island get a Chi-Chi. The Chi-Chi gets Doyan. Doyan recycles for Picari, and then you just get Bururu for Dark Templar or anything like that. Let's see. Yeah. Small World for Bururu to get Gachiri. So Gachiri is going to make your monster unaffected in case he has Nibiru. Let's see. And then, yep, Auto Reborn. Yep. So Light Dragon Minister came up for the first time. Double protected because you can destroy your monsters from being destroyed by battle card effect. And Cyber's Wicked. Cyber's monsters at point 2, of course, cannot be destroyed by card effects. He's going to destroy the Butler. And Butler can get Bow Wow, but that's really not good because Bow Wow can't get you anything else, which really sucks because normally you want to resolve its effect. Yep, summon that, Takes care of the Regeki, Splash Mage into whatever you want after you summon your monsters, and then Gachiri, of course, can negate Picari. You don't need to use it any whatsoever. You already used Picari this turn. On field effects, don't matter. Summon Doyan, okay. Update Jammer. Gachiri is going to target Update Jammer. Just a second. Yeah, so Gachiri, so Zohair played this out afterwards. Gachiri targets Update Jammer, then he goes Access Code, or Transcode Talker into Update Jammer again, and then summon your Transcode Talker using all 3 monsters, so you have a 5300 attack monster that can attack twice and is unaffected by your opponent's card effects. Kind of hard to play through that. That is the Access Code OTK. Very, very strong. Both this deck and Math Mech, both Power of the Elements, can do this combo. This is really the reason to play this deck, these kind of decks, these Cyber decks. Either this, because you can just punch through a lot of boards, or with Math Mech or Math Mech Cybers, you can play You can play like the Code Talker, the Signet, Conflict, the Counter Trap, which is really, really strong versus Adventure. You can just negate Rite of Aramesir, any kind of Branded Fusion, Shaddoll Fusion, anything like that. Yeah, really, really strong decks. I really like the Mathmech version. I really like Mathmechs in general. You guys will see a lot more later on. But yeah, so his opponent realized he just had the OTK. Couldn't do anything about it. So he just blows up everything on the board because he has basically every attribute. Start with these two monsters, the Bow Wow and Token. You know, attack over, Birdie Anaconda, attack directly. That's game. Yeah, so that was it. Good plays with Zohair, even though he lost one. 1-1. That happens, especially versus some of the better decks. And I think the Prank-Kids deck is kind of falling off more because of Albaz and because that deck is so strong. Maybe we'll see some kind of adventure hit in the upcoming ban list. We'll see, hopefully, Scythe hit, just to see kind of some of these decks played. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this deck. I do like the Signister. I don't like necessarily seeing on towers, but I do like watching it just break through a bunch of boards and punch with access code twice. It's really, really fun because it feels like Playmaker and Yu-Gi-Oh! Brains. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. This is Eric with OzoneTCG, and I will see you guys in the next one.